Today on Talking Solutions, welcoming back Major Kelly Pontsler from the Salvation Army.
It's great to be back.
Oh, I'm glad
I can't believe a whole year has gone by.
I know. Also with us, Becky Watson with the Salvation Army.
Thank you, and it's great to be here.
Kettle season.
This is the largest single fundraising effort that we have in the whole entire year. And so as goes Christmas, so goes the rest of the year and the opportunities and the possibilities that we'll have to really serve out into the community all year long. So this is critical need stuff for us.
I want to make sure that we share a lot of the things that I think many people are not aware of that the Salvation Army actually does in our community. It's far beyond providing shelter. It's far beyond providing meals. It is a lot of other things that I'd love to touch on. For the Kettle discussion, which we will come back to here in a minute, can I get the number, the amount of donations that is your goal for this year?
We need to raise $600,000 in those buckets through this Christmas season across Southern Nevada. $600,000. It's a big number for us, but it's a very critical piece in our budget and our ability to serve through the whole year.
And I remember Major Kelly Pontsler last year when you were talking about the donation drive with the Kettle Drive for the Salvation Army, that you were very optimistic that the community would step up and meet your needs. How do you feel about it coming into this season?
Very positive. We've had lots of opportunities this year to talk about the Salvation Army and its services, and that awareness right away just helps. You know, we get a number of people saying to us, oh, I just didn't realize, I didn't know that you did so many different kinds of things. And so when that red bucket comes out, those bells start ringing, people go, oh, I can connect the dots here. This allows you to do that. And so all of my conversations with folks in the community, service clubs, and other people, very, very positive. Everybody's looking forward to really digging in throughout this season.
This is our part of helping you do what you do.
And we love that, and thank you for that right up front.
You are welcome in advance.
Thanks.
I always love the slogan, doing the most good.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Salvation Army is so non-judgmental. You're not making people jump through hoops to receive services and assistance. As far as what you provide, we talk about the shelter for individuals who need a place to stay warm and sleep.
Mm-hmm. I think a couple of things we're best known for in services. One is emergency sheltering. Someone who finds themselves out on the street for whatever circumstances, and where am I going to go to get safe, to stay warm, to stay out of the weather? Even in Las Vegas, you know, it gets cold at night, and people need to come in out of that. So emergency sheltering for us takes a couple of different forms. It can be as simple as a mattress on the floor. That is truly our emergency. I've got nothing else. I just need to get out of the elements. We have well over 100 people every night. In fact, right at the moment, about 160 people a night will come and just sleep on a mat on the floor with us, adult men and women. Then we have people who will come into programs with us, such as a veteran who is working their way through the VA services. They are trying to get regrouped, get away from being homeless, look again at getting into some regular housing situation, but they need a place to live while they're sorting all of this out. It might be doctor's appointments and things. So we have housing on our Owens campus that is, we'll call it kind of transitional housing. People are in a transition point from a crisis to trying to get some stability. We also have men and women who will be in a vocational program with us. So they're relearning job skills. They're taking care of their GED. They're sorting out other papers, ID, and other things. They might be in a culinary training program that we do. They will reside on the campus. Well, we have, I think, about 150 individuals who will be residing with us in those circumstances. Transitional. They've moved beyond just the crisis point, but they're not quite ready to be out on their own yet. We have some single-person studio apartments that we've just reopened, also on the campus, that are, again, a transition point. Someone who is in case management. We're trying to work out details so they can get stabilized. They can get into employment. They have found some employment. They're getting ready to get into their own place. So we have about 69 units of housing that when it's all full, again, we've just reopened it, but when it's all full, we'll have 69 folks in that. All of those services are for adults. We are unfortunately not in a position to be able to house families right at this point in time. It's really important for us that children especially are in a housing situation that is very safe. So mixing all of the adults with the children doesn't always work for us. So we don't have an opportunity right now. But if a family walks through the door and the parents say, I can't quite make the ends meet and I can't pay my rent, we do everything that we can to help fill in those gaps, because it's just as important that we help people avoid homelessness as it is to deal with them once they're in a homeless situation. So very often with our families, that's more the direction. To the extent that we can, we'll help them with a utility bill, which will allow them, the parents, to pay the rent, or some other kind of thing. We'll help with some of the food so that they can put what money they have into keeping the family in a stable housing situation. All of that is equally important. It's all extremely necessary. But if we can do it, keeping people from even entering into a homelessness situation is always better.
It's a safety net. If you can keep somebody in a home, it would be tougher to get them back in from homelessness.
Absolutely. You lose traction reaction very quickly. Things change once you're out of your own home, whatever that is. We also assist a lot of families who are not in their own home. They are couch surfing with friends and family. We know that in the school system, there are something like 11,000 children who have been identified as being homeless, and many of them are in circumstances where they're not necessarily living on the street, but they don't have their own permanent residence either. And that's a problem. That doesn't help kids to be set up for success when it comes to their studies and things, because everything is so temporary. So we just try to dig in wherever we can to avoid people falling into that homelessness crack. It doesn't always happen. We can't always accomplish that for circumstances very often beyond the control of the family. But if we can catch you before you fall into the net, we'd like to.
There are a lot of other ways that the Salvation Army also helps our community here in Southern Nevada. Food, for instance, to make sure that families and all the people that you interact with the Salvation Army have food, shelter, food. We still are only scratching the surface of what the Salvation Army does in our community. We're talking with Major Kelly Pontsler today. Also, Becky Watson from the Salvation Army with us in studio for Talking Solutions. I love talking about the Salvation Army and the incredible good that they do in our community. There are other ways that people can also help. With the Red Kettle campaign, you're looking for, what was it, $600,000 to be collected?
$600,000, coin and bills and checks. We'll love checks.
And every now and then you hear on the news a story of somebody will drop a diamond ring or something. Go ahead.
Love that. There's also somebody who's out there and very mysteriously seems to drop little gold coins. Mm-hmm. We'd be happy to take a few of those. It's never happened on any pot that I've been responsible for, but yeah.
Who wouldn't want that?
That's right.
As far as where the kettles will be this year, I know that there are many, many locations.
It's a real mixture, primarily at grocery stores, all of the large stores, any place that has a good substantial amount of foot traffic. It's likely you'll see a Salvation Army Red Kettle out there. We also have some that are out at department store areas. We were very pleased to have an opportunity out at the Summerlin.
Oh, downtown Summerlin. Love that place.
And we were able to get some service clubs, Rotary clubs, to go out and ring the bell for us, which is just a fabulous return for us.
When you were out talking with these service groups and organizations, it sounds like some of them have already stepped up and said, I'd love to ring the bell, because you know that that's a fantasy experience to me to be able to ring the bell for the Salvation Army Red Kettle.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit contagious. Sometimes people are a little timid the first time out. You think, how's this going to go? We say, look, ring the bell, smile at folks, wish them a Merry Christmas, say thank you, God bless you. That's all you need to do. And once they've been out and done it one time, it's amazing. I think the largest percentage of people will turn around and go, that actually wasn't too bad. Let's go do that again. And with the service clubs, you know, they like to get into some friendly competitions. So if they can just edge out their sister club, that's not bad either.
And how much fun is it to stand with the Red Kettle for the Salvation Army and the bell and ring it and wish everybody who's coming along a Merry Christmas.
Yeah. It's interesting, especially in a lot of stores where they don't have the automatic doors, to see the person standing at that Red Kettle just kind of pull that door open. Somebody's coming out with arms full of parcels or something, or trying to juggle kids and parcels, and you pull that door open. And you know, you've just made an impression in a moment on the life of someone in that very busy holiday season. Somebody cared enough just to open a door. It's a minor, simple kind of reflex action, but you do that and you just say, have a great day, or Merry Christmas, or blessings on you. And all of a sudden you've made somebody's day. We need to do that too, right? That's part of just being a good neighbor, being out in the community.
Kindness goes a long way.
Yeah, it does.
People may not realize that every time they step up and volunteer for ringing the bell at a Salvation Army kettle, it actually allows the Salvation Army to do more, because we're not needing to cover those kettles with people. All of that money goes right back to the Salvation Army. If we can do this free of charge, get you out there ringing the bell at a Salvation Army kettle, that means that much more money goes to the Salvation Army.
That's right. Last year I was just doing some simple math and worked out if somebody would stand and ring the bell for us for an hour, just based on kind of the average of the amount of coin and cash that would come in, that's enough money to feed a family for a week. The value of that is very tangible. It's very real. So someone who will say, I don't really have the ability to put together a food basket or do something in that way, we'd say, can you come and ring the bell for an hour? We have well over 100 locations across Southern Nevada where we're ringing bells. Come and help us for an hour. And what you help us to raise by doing that is going to go right back towards services that we provide for the community. Measure it by the number of families that you're going to help us to assist.
You know, the name of this show is Talking Solutions, and I always say that we can all make a difference, and this is a way that you really can make a difference. Even if you don't have one penny to donate to the cause, if you will give your time, it can be so valuable.
Yeah.
Major Kelly Pontsler is with us today from the Salvation Army. So nice to have you back in again this year.
Love it.
And our welcome for the first time to Becky Watson, also with the Salvation Army. Volunteers have got to be key to the overall efforts and services provided by the Salvation Army. You guys have a lot of volunteer help, don't you?
We do, and we need more. What we deliver in terms of services and assistance is very hands-on kinds of stuff. We provide meals every day out of our big kitchen, for example, up on our Owen Social Services campus. We have a few paid staff members, but everything else, the delivery of the food, being able to serve, being able to greet people, we just need people to be very hands-on with us and help us to accomplish that. There's no way we can cover the costs of salaries to fully staff everything that we do. And the same is true in the areas where we're working with homeless men and women who come in and they just need to be welcomed and greeted and someone to help to attend to some of their very practical needs. All of that takes helping hands. People to pack boxes of food. We don't have the ability to pay staff for that, trying to stretch the dollars as far as we can, but somebody comes in and volunteers for a couple of hours, can pack a lot of boxes of food and help us to provide that assistance to a lot of families.
When we were talking last year, we were discussing the overall budget for the Salvation Army for the year, and it was millions and millions of dollars.
It is. It's about $16 million altogether across Southern Nevada.
And getting the volunteer help makes it that much more effective.
Absolutely.
We've got a lot of needs in our community. I believe, and I think other people feel the same way, that we are rebounding from the recession, downturn, whatever you want to call it. It was a really tough time. We're not out of the woods yet. I'm sure that you see that with the Salvation Army more than anyone else.
It's true. When we chat with people in the community about how is it going, how are they perceiving sort of this rebound, in a lot of areas, it's starting to become tangible. But the reality is for most people who are kind of on the lower end of the economic spectrum, it isn't happening for them yet. There are a lot of reasons for that. It's no one thing, but simple things like decisions that businesses have had to make about the balance of full-time positions to part-time positions. People might be working, but they're now working part-time positions, so the stability isn't there. Or the balance of minimum wage jobs to, say, those that are a little bit higher in scale. The reality, again, is no one can really live in stable housing, provide for their family on a minimum wage job. So they may be working, but even working, they're not able to keep up. We see a lot of the working poor, as they often get described. They are working, they're doing their very best to make the ends meet, but they just can't pull everything together that they need.
It's nice that they have a job. We call that in a lot of cases being underemployed because you don't have what you need. And when you are in a situation like that, where you, even full-time working at a minimum wage and you're not able to provide for your family of four on those wages, they end up coming to a place like the Salvation Army to help them with those gaps.
Exactly. And that's really what it is. I can do this, but I can't do this. I have to make choices. Can you help us so that we can make the best choice we can this month about how we're going to use what we have? You know, in my experience, I really haven't met anyone who loves the fact that they're going to have to walk through the door and ask for help. I've just never met anybody who does. It's kind of a dent to your pride when you have to do that. And we say, look, our passion is just people. We want people to know that they're loved, that they're cared for. And our mission is about transforming lives. We want to help people make the decisions that they need to make to get to the place that they want to get to. That might be stable housing. It might be being able to make sure that their kids can hang in there in school. They can get the food that they need so that their bodies are fed well as little girls and little boys and be able to focus in. So if we can help you to make the kinds of decisions that are going to help your family's life begin to transform, that's the good stuff. We love that stuff.
That's why you're here.
That's why we're here.
The kind of activities that the Salvation Army has coming up between now and the end of the year, not only the Kettle Drive, we'll remind you a few times that we're looking for $600,000. If we all work together, we can make this happen, and we will make it happen. You can volunteer to ring the bell. That helps. There are a lot of other activities, though, because this is your busy time of the year. You will have the Angel Tree coming back again this year.
We are definitely doing Angel Tree. This is our opportunity to help parents provide for their kids at Christmas and enjoy that celebration. I mean, there's nothing better than a Christmas day opening up a present of some kind and knowing that you're loved. And lots of parents aren't in a place right now to be able to provide that for their children. And so, yeah, our toy distribution is going to be set up again this year. We're looking forward to that.
Angel Tree, you know how that works, right? You go to different locations, you'll see a Christmas tree, there are tags hanging there, and it describes the age of a child and their gender and the sort of things that they would like to receive. Is that correct?
That's right. Very often you'll see them in a place of business. A company will say, we'd like to put together a good collection of toys and bring that joy into the life of a child. And so they'll set up a little tree and they'll hang some tags up. We're happy to provide tags to anybody who would like to do that. Then an employee will sort of select something and they'll go and get what they can. Last year, we sort of changed the way that we did our distribution, and we really set up like a toy shop. We were over at Cashman Center for 2 days of distribution, work with families to allow them to come through with a personal shopper and walk through and pick up 2 toys for each of their children and then some smaller little items. The cool thing about that is it gives parents a chance to choose. I often think I have a hard enough time making decisions for my own self. I'm not sure that I really know what every 9-year-old boy really wants or every 12-year-old girl. But a parent usually knows their child pretty well. And if they can choose from a couple of different things on the table, they're going to choose the thing that best suits their child. That's where their child is at in terms of likes and interests. So that experience allows parents to really engage with the process. Again, we want parents to be part of the process here. Come and figure out, have a look, just like you would in a shopping trip if you were going into the store. But then you walk away with a good sized bundle of things that you know will help to make a pretty special Christmas for your kids.
We're talking about the toy distribution at Cashman Center. Normally that is about the second weekend of December. Is that about right?
Our distribution this year, December 12th and 13th.
Oh, December.
And so we're busy right now. We've got boxes out collecting toys in a lot of businesses. These trees are set up to help us collect toys. And in Las Vegas, everything that we collect will come into this distribution point and be set up for parents to do some shopping. In Henderson, we work with the Galleria Mall. They're very kind and allow us to do our toy drive. They will prepare actual baskets for each family. And out of our Henderson location on Lake Mead Parkway, provide for several hundred families through the Christmas season.
It's Major Kelly Pontsler and Becky Watson, both with the Salvation Army. We're talking about the toy distribution the second weekend of December. Cashman Center, the way they used to do it was to put together the gifts, and then the kids would come in and get a gift. But last year it changed, and I love this approach. Now the parents can come in with kind of a personal shopper with them, and instead of just getting that pre-assigned or pre-selected gift, it is so much better to let the parent go through and say, oh, he's been talking about this every time this commercial runs. He's reminded me all the time he wants this toy.
Right.
And they get the chance to choose that for their little boys, their little girls.
I think it's the perfect kind of matchup between the community who really are attentive to the fact that so many people are struggling, and here's a way we can give back. And then those families who are really experiencing that need. It's all about setting these families up for success, for that expression of love and joy. This was a big change for us last year. We weren't quite sure how it was going to go, and we were kind of scrambling to get things set up. On one of our 2 days of distribution, I happened to be at sort of the checkout place where we just sort of go down and make sure that they've hit all of the tables they need to get all the things they need to get. And I'll just remember this one mother, she had a couple of children, and she came and put her things up, and we were just kind of going down the list, and she just had these tears welled up in her eyes. She could hardly speak, and all she could say was, thank you. But you could tell just by looking at her that she was overwhelmed by the fact that right now, at this point in time, she really couldn't do what she really felt in her heart she needed to do. And here was an opportunity to connect the dots for her family. And the gratitude, deep, deep gratitude. A mother who I'm confident didn't really want to have to walk through the door that day, wasn't sure how that was going to go. And yet in this process and sharing some time with a little personal helper and getting some encouragement and, hey, you're doing the right thing. And then to be checking out, great big tears welled up in her eyes. And you're just going to go, that's why we're here.
How much does that hurt inside to realize that you're doing everything you can and you can't give them those extras? And then to have the Salvation Army say, come in, we want to help, and gift all these wonderful things to make that holiday happen when they didn't think that it would.
Exactly. Who wouldn't want to be part of that? For the staff and the team, those are the moments that you realize this is really worthwhile. There's purpose to all of this. To the community at large, we just have to extend a very deep word of gratitude for the support.
The Kettle campaign, we need $600,000. We'd love to have you step up and volunteer and ring a bell and get something back. You'll feel wonderful from the experience, and you'll help the Salvation Army do even more with the dollars. We've talked about the angel tree and getting all of those gifts together for the toy distribution coming up that second weekend of December at Cashman Center. I bet you need a lot of volunteers to help with that.
We need lots and lots of volunteers to help us do that. It takes us a good couple of days to sort through all of those toys and get them kind of broken out by age groups and get it all set up. There's a lot that needs to be done. And then we have about a day and a half of distribution, and people who are willing to come along, be a personal shopper, carry the bag and have some conversation with someone coming through the line to do some Christmas shopping. This takes a lot of hands for us to pull off, but we just love it. It is good fun. We had a great response from the community last year in helping us to do that, but we literally need hundreds and hundreds of volunteers, 4 days of activity. We'll use anybody, kids down to 11, 12 years of age. If they can come with a parent, we're delighted to have them come along. We had a couple of Boy Scout groups come last year. They spent an hour or two with us. They were, I think, some of the best shoppers, because when the parent would say, well, I have a child who's 11 or 12, and we had some of these Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts there, they're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what they would like. It was awesome.
This, I'm at
They got this. It was awesome. So wide age range, doesn't require any pre-planning other than to sign up, and contact for all of that can be made through our administrative office. Can I give them the telephone number?
Absolutely. I just jotted it down. I think I know it by heart.
Should we test you? No,
okay.
I'll tell you.
Oh, no.
Go,
Let me try.
You. Okay.
702-870-4430.
Yeah, excellent. Right on the money.
I love the Salvation Army. I don't know how many ways I could say it. The mission, the kindness, open acceptance of anyone in need appeals to my heart.
Thank you.
That's why I know your number. Volunteers, think of all the different opportunities we've already put out there. Ringing a bell, donating food, to donating for the Red Kettle campaign, where we need $600,000 to help carry out the mission of the Salvation Army for helping all these people in need here in Southern Nevada, to Angel Tree, putting it in your workplace, in your office, to helping with the toy distribution, all of the different volunteer efforts. I don't even think I mentioned, since early on in our discussion, come and help serve those meals on the Owens campus.
Every single day. We serve upwards of 1,000 meals every single day on our Owens campus, 365 days a year. We need helping hands. We'll take a few extra hands at Christmas, but it doesn't have to be limited to that. Every single day, we've got men and women and families coming through for a meal with us.
And if you want to make a difference in your community, all you have to do is volunteer.
That's right.
Lots of opportunities. There's something you're going to want to do. Clerical volunteering opportunities. 702-870-4430. Becky, there is also a website where people can donate. They can participate in Angel Tree. They can volunteer their time. They can find out about your efforts, all kinds of things.
That's right. They can find all of those services and all the information they need at salvationarmysouthernevada.org.
Spell it all out.
Spell it all out.
Okay.
salvationarmysouthernevada.org.
And you know that I'm going to put all these links and everything on our Talking Solutions Facebook page so that people can also access it through there and listen to our full discussion as well.
Awesome.
Even though we've been talking for a while, we still haven't covered everything that the Salvation Army does to make a difference in our community. We also have the Salvation Army thrift stores. And last year, I know I learned for the first time where that money that is raised goes and what it does.
We are really blessed in Las Vegas to have one of the Salvation Army's adult rehabilitation centers, our drug and alcohol recovery program, and does amazing work with over 125 men and women all throughout the year. All of the revenue from the resale of items in those Salvation Army thrift stores comes in to help us to fund that drug and alcohol recovery center. It takes a lot of money, as you can imagine, to keep people in residence for 6 months. We don't ask any financial contribution from the men and women in the program. We just ask them to come in with a commitment to improving their lives as they work out what it means for them to live drug-free, alcohol-free. So those stores provide a very important resource to the community at large. We're just so pleased. The program at the ARC, as we call it, has continued to develop, and just this last week, they had a sobriety banquet to celebrate the men and the women who've really made some very important, huge steps in their sobriety. And as they sort of did a countdown of numbers of weeks and months and years, there were hundreds and hundreds of years of sobriety represented in that room. And as you begin to meet the men and women who've come through these programs and you see how their lives have changed because they've gotten past those addictions and have been able to concentrate on other things, on their families, on their own health and wellness, on giving back into the community, just fabulous to see. Talk about transforming lives. When they can stand up and say, I got a job, there is great rejoicing, I'll tell you, because that's what it's all about. It's getting back into the community in a way that's healthy and normal and giving back. It's amazing to watch.
You can support the Salvation Army's efforts by donating your gently used items.
That's right. And we can take pretty much everything. You know, clothing is especially helpful. Some larger items, furniture items, the kinds of things that people are able to come in and pick up and walk away with as they do their shopping tend to be a little easier to sell. So lots of clothing would be really helpful to us right now.
We are still not done talking about all the things that the Salvation Army does in our community. We've talked about the Kettle campaign, need $600,000. Volunteer to ring the bell for a kettle makes it go that much further. Talking about the Angel Tree, how you can put it in your place of business, how you can help with the toy distribution at Cashman Center, second weekend of December. Need a lot of volunteers for that. How you can help with serving over 1,000 meals every day for people in need at the main campus on Owens with the Salvation Army. We need volunteers for that. I'll keep reminding everybody we can use your money, whatever you've got. Another thing, Major Kelly Pontsler, that you made me aware of that I didn't know about. What kind of things does the Salvation Army do to rescue people from human trafficking?
It's amazing how much human trafficking is closer to us than we would even realize. In the Las Vegas area, we work with several hundred victims of human trafficking every year. We are connected with them in a number of different ways, but primarily through Metro, through other authorities as people become aware of a situation. What is just astounding to me is that the average age of most of the victims we work with, and they are boys and girls, but they're between about 12 and 17 years of age. So these are kids. And for one reason or another, someone else, an adult, has felt like they can just kind of take control of that child's life and abuse them and misuse them and take from them their future. And we say nobody has a right to take the future from a kid. So we want to be a safe place working with the authorities when a victim is identified. We get them into a safe place of immediate housing, but very often they come with nothing more than the shirt on their back, the shoes on their feet. That's what they've got. So it is a long process, a deep process, working with them to get medical treatment where they need that, to get them some psychological help to begin to deal with what all of this has meant for them. The practical realities of getting clothing and toiletry items and basic household items. Where we can, where it's safe to do so, we absolutely want to get those kids reunited with their families. Many of the children that we work with actually come out of the Southern Nevada area, which might be surprising to people. But we have others who come in international trafficking situations, and in that case, one of our staff will go with them to court to work out their papers, to help them get their life sorted out so they can figure out what next. It has to be handled very carefully and very privately. So it's not an area in which we can often use volunteer services, but we need the help of the community to provide for these young men and women what they need to get reestablished, getting them back into school, get back into their households, toiletries, basic household items. We do need to rely on the community to help us to provide all of those things.
And all of the things that we've been talking about so far today, the Red Kettle campaign helps us do so much.
Absolutely.
And we need $600,000. Give what you can. And if you don't have the money, donate the time. There are so many volunteer jobs available through all of the different efforts that you have with the Salvation Army.
That's right. All through the season and all through the year. We can use volunteer hands, people who can paint walls and all kinds of things. So you might go, well, I don't feel too comfortable with that, but I might be able to do something else. Give us a call. We have so many different ways people can be involved in very practical ways with us all year long.
Not a problem finding something for you to do.
That's right.
Major Kelly Pontsler, there are so many things that the Salvation Army is deeply involved with here in Southern Nevada. And you may not even realize people in your circle are receiving services thanks to the generosity of the Salvation Army. There are so many ways that you help.
Yep.
If somebody was wanting to volunteer, 702-870-4430. They can also do it, Becky Watson, through the website?
They can. The website is salvationarmysouthernnevada.org. Go through, see the volunteer opportunities.
You'll see a red kettle where you can make a donation.
This is a critical time for us in the year. It's make or break for us in being able to really provide all of the services that we feel are essential. And even with that, there are still gaps. You know, we always look to, can we do more? And when will the opportunity open up for us to pick up another slice? But it just is dependent on what we're able to generate in terms of the income through the Christmas season and throughout the year as well.
And the overall budget, you said $16 million?
Pushing about $16 million. That includes all of our local operations, all of that sheltering and food, as well as the drug and alcohol recovery programs in Southern Nevada.
Everything that you do. And it is extensive and substantial. The slogan that I love so much, doing the most good. Look for the kettles. Do you want to ring the bell for a kettle? Do you want to go serve meals at the Owens campus? Do you want to participate in the distribution of the toys? There are a lot of different things that you can do.
The opportunities are endless.
They are. And I can't imagine that there's any downside to saying, this holiday season, I'm going to find a few hours to make a difference by volunteering with the Salvation Army.
If people are aware of someone who maybe is in need of some assistance in the season, we always want people to feel like they have the opportunity to come to tell us their story and ask for the help that they need. 1581 North Main Street is our Family Services Office, and families who are needing help of any kind can call 702-648-8240. It's a good place to start if you're needing some assistance. Don't hesitate. You might know someone in your circle and you don't know what else to suggest. You can at least suggest that they give that number a call, and let's start there, and we'll do anything that we can.
It's amazing what we can accomplish when we all work together, and I believe we can easily do this. Red Kettle campaign. We need $600,000. We need volunteers for all kinds of different positions. Help with the Angel Tree. We got a lot of things going on, and if you'd like to talk with somebody with the Salvation Army, the main number, 702 702-870-4430, and a really, really helpful website, Becky Watson.
Salvation Army Southern Nevada.org, and this year for the Red Kettle campaign, #Red Kettle Reason.
This is going to be a wonderful holiday season. We got a lot of good people here, and I mention again, it's amazing what we can do when we work together. It is always a joy to have the Salvation Army in-house. You know that my door is always open to you, right?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the support and just the chance to catch up on a year and
love
all
this.
that's going on.
I can't believe it's been a year. Major Kelly Pontsler, also Becky Watson, Salvation Army. Thank you, ladies, both for joining us today.
Thank you.
Talking Solutions is a production of the Community Relations Department here at Beasley Media Group Las Vegas. Get more information on today's topic on our Talking Solutions page on Facebook, where you will also find links and a podcast of today's show. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.